Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned Albino Plays Ace Attorney Investigations, episode 13. We're still working on this case and it's getting interesting. You know, I still feel like I know the ins and outs of what's going on, but the peculiars are still escaping me. Let's see. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. You've got to hurry, sir. Come on. What is it, detective? They found a blue badger costume down in front of the main gate, sir. What? Isn't that what one of the kidnappers was wearing? Bingo. That's why you gotta come to the main gate with me right now. If we hurry, we still might be able to get there before Wolf Boy does, sir. All right, let's make haste to the main gate. Oh, to be continued. That's what I should have done. Should have done that just a little later. Alright, well that's gonna do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Alright. Saving. Better hurry up. Better hurry the hell up right now. While I do that, we do the actual save. Fantastic. Where's the costume, Detective Gumshoe? Just on the other side of the fountain, sir. Was it out here in the open all along? Oh, was it out here in the open all along? No, it was discovered in the tall grass back there. We moved it out here in order to examine it more thoroughly. Then let's get down to it. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Alright, well there's obviously a thing in here. What do we have here? Oh, it's another pendant. That's 2 treasures in one day. How lucky is that? And hey, this pretty baby's made of platinum silver too. Another pendant on top of the one we found on Mr. Deacon. Is it possible that these two... Hold it right there! Of course. Hands off, Mr. Prosecutor. You sure know how to cross the line, don't you? Ah, a pendant, huh? This is a very decisive piece of evidence. How can you tell? Look here and read off what you see. Lauren. Hey, it's the name that's engraved on this. Yep, Lauren Deveray. Yeah! Oh yeah, Miss Paups. Aha! We have you now, Miss Kidnapper. No, you don't understand. Lolly, I can't believe you were one of my kidnappers. Lance? You're kidding! Miss Pops was one of the kidnappers? Yes. It was me. I held Lance hostage. So Miss Pops is one of the kidnappers. But even knowing that, I can't call this case solved or over. Hey, guys, case closed. Get the car ready, and I mean the special one for this young lady. Ha! Again, Mr. Prosecutor? What is it this time? Are you proposing that Miss Pops is also the culprit in the murder case? What happened? I thought Officer Meekins was your suspect. We found it. Found what? That officer's gun. He literally dropped it in the middle of a thick patch of grass. Your country's police are a sham. Just look at how careless they are. Who are you calling a sham? The officer's gun didn't show signs of having been fired, so it can't be the murder weapon. So Officer Meekins has been cleared of all charges, I see. And that's when a brand new suspect comes walking onto the scene. The murder only happened because the kidnappers started fighting amongst themselves. As I recall, it was you who said that, right, Mr. Prosecutor? Miss Pops, did you really kill Mr. Deacon? Yes, I killed him. I can't believe it. Thanks for the confession. Agent Lang, it's much too early to declare this case closed. Look at you, so sure of yourself. We've got the culprit's own confession and some very incriminating evidence. What more could you ask for? Miss Lauren Pops.
Yes?
I want to hear it from you. Tell me your side of all that has happened today, from the kidnapping to the murder.
But why? I'm a kidnapper and the killer. Isn't that enough?
Why are you cutting your hair? It's fine if you're the one behind everything, but only if that is the truth. Now then, will you tell us the truth? Or is there some reason why you can't? I've had a change of heart. I think I'd enjoy seeing you sulk away as the losing mutt. Alright, you heard me. Let's hear about all the evil deeds you committed today.
The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Amano would pay anything to get his son back after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me.
There, are you satisfied? She just confessed to her crimes a second time. At least you have the guts to admit what you've done. Can at least respect that much. Miss Pops, is what you said really the truth?
Yes, it is.
If that is the truth, it certainly isn't the whole truth, because there is something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession. Yes, like the fact that her own father would kill her. One who came with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Romano would pay anything to get his son back after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me. Doubt that shit very much, and you know why? You know why I doubt that? 'Cause he's your father. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh my god, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Calmly listen and then present my evidence. Yes, whatever. Yes, I've calmly listened. Mr. Deacon's pendant. Same thing! They both... Miss Pops, you really are clueless, aren't you?
What do you mean?
You never knew what your role in the kidnapping was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do, and I can show you with this piece of evidence.
Why are you showing this to me?
So what about the pendant? This horse pendant, along with this piece of evidence, shows you who you really are. Oh yeah, now this piece of evidence.
Does that really have anything to do with the pendant?
There is something that is very clearly connected to this pendant. It's this other pendant! It's your Palps pendant, cuz! Yo, let me show you your Palps pendant! These two pendants resemble each other, wouldn't you agree? Ooh, I just figured it out! One of them is a horse, the other one is wings. That makes a Pegasus.
Hey, you're right. They're the same color, and they're even made of the same material.
I believe that these two pendants are actually one. Shall we give it a try?
Wow, it's totally Pegasus. But why? Why does my pendant match up with Mr. Deacon's?
You're a smart lady. I'm sure you can imagine why that might be.
What? No, that can't be.
So the two make a set. It's just another trinket. It's not as though this changes anything. You lack imagination, Agent Lang. Very well, I'll show you with this evidence. Oh, now is it time for this evidence? Oh! Yeah! Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name was Colin Deveray, the name that is etched on the horse pendant. What? An alias? I suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live. And it makes sense given what is written in Mr. Deveray's dossier, but what I really wanted to point out was this. This specific section is what reveals the true meaning behind those pendants. Sex male. Whereabouts after escaping from his stolen gun from a guard during his escape. We thought he might head for where his wife and sole daughter are, but despite our surveillance, he has yet to show up. From Pennydean Prison. Bam! Sole daughter. Mr. Deveray had one daughter, and her name is Lauren Paups.
That's a lie! That person was not my father!
He couldn't come out and tell you he was your father because he was in hiding. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you. Do you still believe that a man like that could kill the daughter he was separated from? Or even that such a man would allow his daughter to get involved in a kidnapping plot? Not so fast! Ha 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 ha! And what is so funny, Agent Lang? Do they really give him like, you're good at making things up in your head and deciding it's the truth, aren't you? Like, that doesn't fit him at all. What are you trying to say? Your thinking is much too innocent. After all, I've thought of another possibility. Is that so? Well, let's hear it. I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the House of Amano, and the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly probable as well? So this is his version of how things might have been. You don't have any proof that either one didn't know of their true relationship, right?
You mean they knowingly committed the kidnapping as father and daughter?
That's right, as one really rotten family.
Is that really what happened? Better take a long, hard look at the evidence.
I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? No. And I'll tell you why. The answer is because... I mean, he knew that fact. But she couldn't have known that fact. And the reason she didn't know that fact is because... Letter for Lance, the sender is the Tender Lender Loan Company. No, that's got nothing to do with anything. Deveray dossier. Broken prop sword. Lauren D. They were both wearing a costume. But they would have known which costume. Alright. Keep going. It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the House of Amano. And the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly probable as well? I think we need to press pretty much everything here. You think they knew? Yeah, I don't think only the victim knew. I think the girl realized it as well. They both knew who the other person was, but they had to pretend that they didn't. Because he was on the lam? You got it. The victim couldn't exactly go around flaunting who he was. Furthermore... It was no coincidence that the brunette pair became involved with the House of Albino. One is a butler, and one is the friend of the son, you mean? They probably thought that was their best shot. Is that what you honestly believe? Of course. You mean how they plotted to commit this crime as blood relatives? Can you think of a better partner? They're certainly a clever pair. The butler and the girlfriend. No one would ever suspect that they were in fact family. Yes, from the very beginning, they painstakingly practiced those roles well. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly probable? I believe you're being a bit too overconfident for someone with no evidence. Am I? Because I don't see you presenting any evidence to the contrary. Without evidence to counter him, we're stuck at a draw. Agent Lang isn't wrong. His scenario is certainly a probable one.
You'd better hurry up and do something, or Lauren's gonna wind up looking really bad.
I know, but first things first. Is Agent Lang's line of logic factually correct? Did the two of them really knowingly commit the crime as father and daughter? I really, really wanted that to just be for free. Really could have used that. Lang Zi says, confidence is like a soul, and words without confidence are but empty shells. You shouldn't waste your breath on words you have no confidence in, Mr. Prosecutor. Although it's just as bad to say something in full confidence and be wrong. You gonna let him lecture you about your self-confidence like that? Don't need to be overflowing with self-confidence, I just need to think rationally. After all, I only need to be confident in the facts. It does say viola. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Says Colin Devereaux. Okay, it's got nothing to do with anything. It's just like, I don't know what to present here. I don't know what to present here. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. And you're gonna love it. You're gonna love what I do right now. It's gonna be fantastic. No, I promise. Promise it's gonna be great. Okay, so I'm coming in here, and I'm going Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth, Badger Case, guide, just because I totally forgot what this case is even called. Yes, here we are. I'll find exactly what is going on. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. I'm like loading stuff and it's like table of contents. Kidnap Turnabout Part 1. Where are we at right now? Am I in the middle 2? Am I in end 1? Let's take a look here. Sorry, it's like slowing down because of what I'm doing on here. Okay, we're close. Okay, we are at end 1. Alright, good. Don't worry, I got this. We're almost there. Argument. It's no coincidence. Present the stolen costumes at the 4th statement. The two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little... How the hell could that possibly be what I was supposed to do? How could that possibly be what I was supposed to do? They want me to come here and then present the stolen costumes. Oh, well, I didn't know he was leaving out a third one. That's not what I thought. I was not thinking about that at all. This kidnapping wasn't planned by just 2 people alone. And what kind of proof do you have of that? Quite simply, there were 3 kidnappers. 3? 3? 4 costumes were stolen from the Wild Wild West area's back room. We found one of them in the kidnapper's hideout. But as for the other 3, we can assume they were being worn by 3 different people. We also found a set of 3 cups and 3 folding chairs that were used in the hideout. It all clearly points to a 3-man group, and I believe this 3rd person is the real mastermind behind the kidnapping. Who? Who is this mastermind? I present to you the brains behind the kidnapping. Oh, yes. Dude, why is he so disgusting looking? Lance Amano? Yes, this abduction was, in fact, schemed up by Lance himself. Recall what he said when he appeared before us. Did you see the faces of your kidnappers? No, I didn't see their faces, but 2. One was a woman. However, there were 3 kidnappers, which is in direct contradiction to what he said. But, I know I only saw 2 people. This guy was being held hostage. It's possible he couldn't see all 3 of them. Ah, yes, about when you were being held. I have my doubts about what happened then. Lance, would you mind telling us what happened while you were being held captive? I really don't remember much anymore. Honest. But if I don't tell you at least something, you won't believe me at all, will you? I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room, blindfolded the entire time. But the kidnappers suddenly disappeared around the time I had rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could. Through the underground passageway, I presume. Are you okay? Sorry, I really didn't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right? No, not quite yet. Ah! How can you not? Why do you look at me with icy daggers in your eyes? Because he's a prosecutor and because they're all like that. I'll have you know, Agent Lang, a prosecutor's eyes are for discerning the truth. And should they be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it. Tch. There is a sticking point in Lance's testimony. Let's see what he offers up when I push a little. Ooh, okay, time to press some shit. Nice. I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room blindfolded the entire time. Oh, blindfolded the entire time? So how did you know there were 2 kidnappers, you idiot? By that room, you mean the room in the kidnapper's hideout, correct? Yes, but I was blindfolded the whole time, so I didn't know that until I made my escape. Then you were in the same room as your kidnappers? They spoke in hushed tones, but I could catch bits of their conversation. It was definitely 2 people, and one of them was definitely a woman. I was so scared. I could tell they were nearby, so I didn't dare make a move. But the kidnappers suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside.
The kidnappers disappeared. The room fell into a sudden silence. I had been left behind like an unwanted mutt.
And what do you mean by unwanted mutt?
What a pointless question. It's not like he's going to tell you anything new, you know. It's a poetic simile. You should learn how to use them too. It may look refined on the outside, but it's no good if you're not refined on the inside as well. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone.
Then those cuffs on your wrists, I suppose you are still cuffed in that case.
I am well aware of how I am chained to reality. I couldn't find the key, so I'm afraid that I'm stuck like this. Even though I escaped from that jail cell, I will forever be a prisoner.
Escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could.
How did you manage to escape? I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading outside was locked, which is why I had to use the underground passageway to make my escape.
I remember our escape to be equally as hard. This is an invaluable piece of testimony. I mustn't let it go unexamined. Door leading outside was locked tight,
but it actually wasn't.
You say that the door leading out was locked, but was it really? We're talking about that room behind the saloon front, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get that thing open, right, Sheena?
Yes, that's correct.
Then take a look at this. What is that? A sword? It's not an especially reliable one if it's broken like that. Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply held shut by this sword, which was used to jam the handle. Lance, even though your hands were cuffed together, you could still use them. If that's the case, then why did you not just simply remove the sword and escape?
Why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it. I didn't notice it.
As if I should accept such a bold-faced lie. You locked yourself in that room because you had to make yourself look like the victim. But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door. That is why you used the prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own. You've been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important along the way. And what would that be? A motive! What else? Do you honestly think that an uptight, upright, pure boy like him would hatch up a completely pointless scheme such as kidnapping himself?
This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime.
Would it be the love letter? Would it be the love letter? To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money.
Oh, it's not a love letter at all.
Oh, Viola's just like, she's just kind of crazy like that. Oh, shit. This is hardly your typical love letter. It is, in fact, a collections bill. It appears our upstanding boy has accumulated quite a debt. Why did I just say debt? Isn't that right, Lance?
Gah! Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man, too. It must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your own old man, huh? Gah! All right! I give up! I abducted myself! Lance! Flowy hair. It's over, Lolly. In this life, we really are bound to our fates, after all. All I wanted was to go with you to a new town, somewhere where no one would know us. I wanted us to be well off with that 1 million, but now that dream is over. Oh, Lance!
Then you are giving yourself up?
Yes. I had planned to run away from this world with my Lolly. Oliver even helped us with the plan, but then he had to go and stab us in the back.
He turned on you?
Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money. That's my guess. It happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and keep him under control. We left him inside that room as Lolly and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Lolly left first in the blue badger costume. That would mean the person Officer Meekin saw was Miss Pops. But right then, the old man just had to wake up! I was careless, and he tackled me pretty hard from behind. Then Oliver put on a bad badger costume, took the suitcase with the $1 million and ran. I contacted Lolly right away and warned that he had a gun. They had no idea that they were related, so I thought that it could only end badly. I still don't believe it! That person was not my father! Because if he was, I just killed my own father! Lolly! Then it really was you? That man was not my father! I mean, because at the stadium, there was a bad badger pulling the suitcase with the $1 million in it, but that badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead! That's why I used the gun I got from Lance. There was a gunshot. The other person crumpled to the ground and I ran scared for my life.
I think the big picture is finally coming into focus, don't you?
Lolly, forgive me. I didn't think it would turn into something so frightening. If only I could have protected you. So, Miss Pops, she shot her own dad without even knowing who he really was?
If what she says is true.
Are you saying she's lying? But why would she lie about something like that? What purpose would it serve?
You would be surprised how often people lie without even realizing it themselves, Kay.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
What I mean is listen very carefully to her confession once more and you'll see. That man was not my father, because at the stadium, there was a bad badger pulling the suitcase with the $1 million in it. But that badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I used the gun I got from Lance. You got a gun from Lance? There was only one gun. One real gun, anyway. Missing model gun. Use the gun I got from Lance. Did Lance give you the missing model gun? No. Okay. Alright. Mr. Edgeworth, I don't think you pulled out the right piece of evidence. Aw, damn it! You will refrain from excessive talking. There was a gunshot, the other person crumpled to the ground, and I ran scared for my life. Aiming to shoot me dead. Okay, so then we would present the missing model gun here, I think. No? What do you mean? Oh my god. Were you able to clearly see the gun?
Yes, I got a very good look at it while it was pointed at me. Oh, Father, why would you try to shoot me?
Do you really think a father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth? I don't know. I don't want to believe it myself.
But it's true. My father's left arm was raised with a gun in it. Pointed straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought.
Miss Pops, please calm down and take a deep breath. And then would you allow me to please hear that last statement one more time?
Yes, of course.
Oh, here we go. It's always, whenever they specify the hand, that's always wrong. And, like, nobody even does that. Which is why it's a complete falsity, like, in terms of... Like, there's nobody describes, like, he pointed his right hand, used his pointer finger to pull the trigger, and then with his left hand, he did a thumbs up sign as I died. Like, no one says anything like that. Yeah, except the dossier proves that he's right-handed. As always. As always, there's something that proves that it's the wrong dominant hand. I have here a dossier on your father. And according to this, your father was right-handed.
Ah, then...
The person pointing a gun at you from atop the stage was not Mr. Deacon. Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. I think you need to take a refresher course. The Bad Badger has a model gun attached to his right hand, which is why the only hand he could have held the real gun with was his left. Isn't it possible that it went down like that? Agent Lang, were you paying attention to what Miss Pops was saying? Then again, I suppose I can't expect someone who has never set foot in court to catch it. Enough with the smugness, out with it already! Miss Pops told us earlier, there was a Bad Badger pulling the suitcase with the 1 million in it. According to you, the Bad Badger had the gun in his left hand, which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. Is that correct, Miss Pops?
Yes, exactly. And I'm sure it was the Bad Badger. It had those huge sunglasses on its face.
But if that's the case, even I can see there is a huge contradiction. Yes, Miss Pops claims to have seen the Bad Badger, and yet the Bad Badger had both of his hands full. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong. Both are correct, oh yeah. Both hands were not occupied. It wasn't the Bad Badger. The Bad Badger's gun was ripped off, man! Miss Pops, what you saw was not the Bad Badger. Think back and recall which character was it that leveled a gun at you.
But it was wearing a pair of sunglasses, and it had that strange blue beard. That sums up the Bad Badger pretty well, I'd say.
Too bad for you, but it looks like the Bad Badger wasn't the mistake here. Oh, no! Miss Pops claims to have seen the Bad Badger, and yet the Bad Badger had both of his hands full with something or another. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong. Both hands were not occupied. No, both are correct. They are both correct. Impossible! That just leaves us with an irresolvable contradiction. Miss Pops' entire statement rests on the fact that she saw his sunglasses and beard. But what if that Bad Badger wasn't wearing pants on his lower half? This proves that there was a way for the Bad Badger to freely use both of his hands. The missing model gun. What do you mean? What do you mean? Missing model gun. The Bad Badger costume has a model gun attached to its right hand, which is what created this contradiction about which hand did what. Miss Pop's entire statement rests on the fact that she saw his sunglasses and beard. But what if that Bad Badger wasn't wearing pants on his lower half? This proves that there was a way for the Bad Badger to freely use both of his hands. Bad Badger's head. The costumes have two parts to them, a head and the body. Oh, I get it now! The head Miss Pops saw was probably really the head of the Bad Badger. However, is it not possible that the body was that of an entirely different badger? A different badger? Yes. Or to put it more bluntly, I believe it was the lower half of this badger. The body of the Bad Badger Miss Pops saw really belonged to this badger. It's either the Proto Badger or the Blue Badger. I'm gonna say Blue Badger. Please. His head may have been the Bad Badger, but his body was the Blue Badger's. The Blue Badger? Hold on, let's see here. Who was it that had one of these on? I did. And so did Officer Meekin's pal. A nice... Aww, it's the Proto Badger! I'd like to strike what I just said from the record and give my explanation anew. Body of the Bad Badger Miss Pop saw really belonged to this badger! What? The heck is it? It's the Proto Badger. Yes, and it's a simple matter of process of elimination. Miss Pops was wearing the Blue Badger's costume, so we can eliminate that one. And the Pink Badger is of the wrong color, which would have been incredibly obvious. All that is left is the Proto Badger costume. Miss Pops, who was the one who wore the Proto Badger costume?
That would be Lance.
Are you saying what I think you are? That Lance Amano donned the Bad Badger's head and pretended to be Mr. Deacon? On top of which he plotted to shoot Miss Pops while wearing that hideous thing? The stage that was set up in the stadium was nothing more than that, a setup. And its purpose was to lead Miss Pops into believing she had committed murder, standing there in front of Miss Pops and pretending to be the victim. It was all done so that she would pull the trigger.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Why exactly would I have had to do all that, huh? There is but one reason. Lance Amano. You are the real culprit behind the murder of Mr. Oliver Deacon.
What? No!
That's slander! Take it back! You take it back right now! Just out of curiosity, Lance, which is your dominant hand?
I'm left-handed, but what does that have to do with anything?
It depends. According to Miss Pops, her attacker held a gun in his left hand. Ha! Who is what-handed doesn't prove a thing. And besides, now you're just being absurd. It's not like the Proto Badger is bulletproof. One misfire and he would have found himself dead, right? Of course. Logically, if he had been shot, he probably wouldn't be here with us. But I believe he had thought of that as well and had prepared accordingly. This should be all the evidence you need. This is how Lance made sure that he wouldn't be hit by a bullet. Okay, now we get to the missing model gun. We found one half of a Bad Badger costume in the hideout, a broken one. It was not the same one that the victim was wearing, plus it was missing something. And that something is the model gun that the Bad Badger carries, which can fire blanks. What? Miss Pops, where is the gun you use now?
I threw it away into the sea.
That makes it a bit tough to verify what it was. Although I believe that we can safely assume that it was the model gun in question. I've heard enough. All you've been spouting so far is pure conjecture. I admit that as long as the model gun is lost to us, I can't prove I'm right. However, I can say that the probability that I am right is very high. Okay, let's pretend that you're right, and that the murder at the stadium was a fabrication. In that case, where do you think the murder really took place, Mr. Prosecutor? I don't know yet. Ha! I knew you were full of it. However, I do believe that the murder took place during an earlier time frame.
Please, wait a second. It's simply not possible. Because I saw Mr. Deacon after he was restrained by Lance.
She saw the victim in the state of being restrained?
I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon. He had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the room next door. After that, the two of us put on our costumes and made our escape.
So Mr. Deacon must have escaped after the two of you left, right?
We thought that it'd attract too much attention if we left together, so I left first. We planned to meet up again at the stage in the stadium. But then, as I was walking through the park, I got a call from Lance on my cell phone. Oliver managed to escape. It looked like he was waiting until I was alone. He also stole the gun from me at that time.
And then the murder happened. Mr. Deacon must have overheard their plan to meet up at the stage. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, Miss Pops saw the victim with her own eyes, which means that the victim was still alive at that time, wouldn't you agree? Why does that sound wrong to me? There must be something amiss about this account. Let's see what happens when I examine it in more detail. Alright, time to press some stuff. Long after the other two. When exactly did you arrive back at the hideout?
It was after we had picked up the ransom money.
And where were you up until the time you returned?
I was scouting the park out and making preparations for our escape. I walked around in the various areas looking for the best route.
Ah, so each of them had their own roles to play.
After I was done, I went back to the hideout.
By that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon. How did Lance look at that time?
He looked shocked. He also looked a little down. When I saw that sadness in his eyes,
Thank you, that's enough for now. And what of Mr. Deacon? What was his situation like?
He had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the room next door.
You are sure that it was Mr. Deacon that you saw?
Yes, I am certain of what I saw.
Did you go into the other room to check?
Lance said that it was best if I didn't get too close to him. Lance, he's such a kind soul.
Then are you telling me that you did not confirm that it was Mr. Deacon for yourself?
I checked through the slit in the door that separates the two rooms. He had a bad badger's head on, so I'm absolutely sure. That just had to be Mr. Deacon.
She saw a bad badger head? Well, this has to be the statement. I forget, was I wearing a bad badger's head when I was subdued? Miss Pops, the person you saw was not Mr. Deacon at all.
Huh?
The person you actually saw was this person. Miles Edgeworth! It was me.
Huh? The person I saw was you, Mr. Edgeworth?
I always thought it was a bit odd. Why would the kidnappers abduct me even after I had handed over the ransom? It's not as though I saw the face of the kidnappers. If I were them, I would have just taken the $1 million and ran. But in the end, there was a point to it all. It was to make me look like Mr. Deacon. And if that was the reason for which I was abducted, then I believe we can assume that the victim was already dead at that time. Well, Lance, am I right?
Yeah, that's...
You showed Miss Pops a person, namely me, with a bad badger's head on, and then made your costumed escape together, or so you pretended.
Huh? What do you mean he pretended?
Exactly that. I believe Lance watched you escape, and then doubled back to the hideout. Probably to come and remove the bad badger head from my unconscious self. And to create his fake prison with the prop sword. He then escaped via the passageway. Hold your tongue, boy. Don't get caught up in that tidal wave of words coming out of Mr. Prosecutor's mouth. Tidal wave? We've heard a lot come out of you, but I've yet to see a shred of evidence. The victim's betrayal and his subsequent detainment, all of that could have happened while you were out cold.
That's right! You were out for quite a while, Mr. Prosecutor!
Even if that were the case, Miss Pops would have still seen me tied to that beam.
I was scared of Mr. Deacon, so I didn't go into the next room. So I really have no idea if you were in there or not, Mr. Edgeworth.
You see? Would seem that you can't prove a thing. Yeah. Who said that? Please, wait. Mr. Romano. Oh, Miles, my boy. It looks like you're really giving it your all. And Lance, it's not good to cause trouble for others.
Dad?
Let's see. You are the one in charge of the investigation, correct? Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry that my son has been nothing but trouble. This probably won't make up for anything, but I have some evidence for you. Oh, do you now? Is that what I think it is?
It's the bad badger costume the victim was wearing, and a gun!
I couldn't wait around for the police, so I went and found these myself. It appears that they were disposed of in the sea. Is there no one in this country who actually obeys the law? There. Now. Agent Lang, please calm down. What the heck is that scrap of paper?
This appears to be a letter from the Chief of Police. Please allow Mr. Amano complete freedom to do as he sees fit, it says.
What? The Chief of Police? What the? Just who does he think he is?
The person who wields the highest authority in this area.
Oh. There. Now. There is no need to be so upset. Huh, I'm not a cop from this land, so I'm not bound by the laws of your country. Now. This wasn't meant to strong-arm you into anything. It's just a request. I'm only asking that you please respect the laws of the land. I can't really say no to that. However, returning to the topic at hand. It doesn't matter who found the evidence. Its value remains unchanged. Alright, now let's take a look at this new evidence. I've already got the results back. I had a special forensics research lab that I'm on good terms with conduct the tests. They verified that the blood on this costume belonged to Oliver. As for the gun, the only fingerprints they could find were yours, Lauren.
What?
You disappoint me, Miles. I can't believe that you would cause my son such stress and heartache. Thank goodness I was able to find the final pieces of evidence. With this, you'll have no reason left to push my poor boy around.
That's it? These are the case-making pieces of evidence? Ha! I'll be the judge of that. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Alright, that's gonna do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Sunburned Albino, and I will see you guys next time.